Hey, God, sorry, I didn't see you there. You caught me off guard. I was just I just really miss Sean and Jason right now. Feeling real lonely out here in this cold open on my own. Oh my! I promised myself I would cry. Not wouldn't cry, that I would cry, and I can't do it. Gosh dang it! All right, it's an all new SmartLess.
SmartLess.
Hi, y'all.
Hi, y'all.
Hi, y'all.
Good evening.
Hi.
I know
Good
it's
evening.
very late.
This is a very unusual SmartLess After Dark.
This is SmartLess After Dark.
Yeah, I mean, should we take a piece of clothing off, maybe?
Oh,
Let's see how it goes.
I mean, isn't that what usually happens after dark? In my house,
okay.
everyone's topless after 6.
No kidding.
Am I the only one in my pajamas other than the baseball hat?
No, I'm in my pajamas, but that doesn't change anything from our daytime recordings.
I know.
No.
But JB, what's the earliest? All jokes aside, what's the earliest you'll get in your jammies?
Well, if I'm not going out at all, I never get out of them. I'll be in it all day.
All day.
Oh, and you're telling me I smell like juicy, disgusting juice?
No, well, no. I mean,
Wait, what's the quote?
What does it usually say?
I usually say you smell like dirty, disgusting, juicy juice. What'd you just say?
Yeah, something like that.
No, you usually smell like a chin chin.
That's true. This is true. But I mean, you always make fun of me because or what was it? I was wearing the same thing like all day long. And you're like, and you didn't take another shower?
Yeah.
And you take the same.
But you'll wear the
pajamas all day.
same.
What'd you both get into today? Here we are at the end of the day. Do you feel like you used today correctly? Or did you just waste a day?
I do. I thought that I'd see you. I attacked the hill this morning.
Yeah.
Took the kids to school. Attacked the hill. Didn't call either of you while I was on my journey, and because I didn't want to get another impression of my breathless phone calls.
Right.
And then
were you zipped into your plastic sweatsuit?
I was zipped into it.
Your rubber bag? God, I'd love it if you actually had one of those.
I wish. I honestly,
I haven't seen one of those since Rocky. It wasn't Rocky jogging in one of those.
Yeah.
he jogged, and then didn't some actor years later?
Yes. I was just gonna say Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence.
Oh,
yeah.
Remember that?
Really?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Really long enough.
And then I worked with Chappie this afternoon. We wrote for about
Chappie,
4
wouldn't
hours.
be an episode.
So what does that look like, by the way, these writing sessions? Can I guess? Are you're on a computer with him because he's over there in England, and he just sort of shares his screen with you, and you kind of watch him write?
No. Wrong. Yeah. I just get paid.
Hey,
I just
Chap, can you
watch him.
tilt your camera?
Chappie, typo. Chappie,
Yeah,
typo.
can you tilt your camera?
2 lines up. Yeah, you forgot the apostrophe right there. Welcome.
I just got back like about an hour ago from having a facial to answer your question. I treated myself. I haven't had one in a long time. Jeez.
No, this is the kind where they pop blackheads and stuff.
Okay.
Well,
I'm trying to fucking.
No.
You know, my wife's very diligent about making sure that I get in there and get my facial once a year.
Yeah,
are you more frequent than that, Sean?
Maybe 2 a year.
When's the last time you had your toes and fingers done?
Years and years.
No. You've had a manicure and pedicure recently.
No, not for years and years and years.
Will, don't lie. Last mani-pedi.
Mani-pedi, I don't know, but I've had 2 facials in the last 6 weeks.
Oof.
Are you serious?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Because you had some on-camera work, did you?
No, yeah, but you know what? I haven't had one in at least 5 years before that.
Okay.
And
This explains a lot.
it feels good though.
Shiny.
Tell you what.
I pass out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I do too.
Best.
Yeah.
Do you have one of those ugly wake ups too when you're snoring like?
Oh my God.
I totally do every time.
This is also relatable. I also had a massage recently I did a 90-minute massage. It's not that fan. Everybody gets massages in the world, and I don't get them all the time.
No.
And I had, she let me. It was 90 minutes, and she just kept me face down the full 90, and I was asleep, so I didn't know that I hadn't done like the flip over. And I fully did a like this, woke up, and then my face had been in the donut facing down for 90 minutes. I look like I'd just been kicked in the face repeatedly.
Yeah. Our friend Justin Thoreau,
Sure.
When he gets a massage, for some weird reason, he likes to watch World War II documentaries.
What are you talking about?
That's not a bit. That's all he does when he gets a massage. So he'll put his face in the donut and he'll put his phone down on the floor and he'll just watch tanks and flamethrowers and all kinds of carnage.
Where's
That's
the relaxing part?
You tell me. This is I don't know. This is a guy that flies, transcontinental topless. So try to figure him out.
Does he really?
Yeah. When he
does.
falls asleep on a plane, he can't sleep without his shirt on. With his shirt on, he can't sleep. So if he's sleeping on a plane or wherever he's sleeping, he's got to take his shirt off.
That's just as gross as somebody putting their bare feet on the seat behind you on a plane.
Oh, JB, you just hit the main vein of JB's disgust.
What would be worse, walking around a hotel room without socks or shoes on, or walking down the aisleway of a plane without socks?
Plane.
I'd say a plane.
Plane for sure.
Yeah,
Which is a tight second.
because they don't
It's
clean
a
those.
cursory clean. They just go, ooh,
But
okay,
they
we're
start
good.
you out in horror by when you go through the radar thing. You take your shoes off and you got to put your socks there on the little foot outline thing where all the hot socks have been from people all over the world, and your hot sweaty feet have to go on exactly the same spot their hot sweaty feet just left. Oh, it's a fucking disaster.
That's a great title for
I
something.
love.
Hot socks.
You know what? This is so good to hear you working off your long-term memory of what it's like going through an airport.
And I always try to straddle those little paint out things,
Sure.
and like I step on the inside or the outside. And like, no, inside the line, sir.
Yeah, you got to be inside. It's like a fucking murder chalk outline. Okay,
Yeah.
You got to be right
I
inside.
know. I try to saddle it, and then they get mad at you.
And then I got to put them back in. Then I put those hot socks back in my shoes. Now the shoes are ruined.
Yeah.
Why are the shoes ruined? What are you
Because the
eating out of
hot
your shoes?
sweat-
You're
No, because
transferring the germs.
Yeah, and now they're dead to me.
Yeah.
Jason, you know what you're going to hate?
What is it?
The rest of the world.
Yeah.
The rest of the world.
This is what you get at 7 o'clock at night.
I know,
Old
it's
cranky
true.
Bateman.
Well, you know what else
You
you
get
get
them at 7 a.m. too.
I tell you what else you get at 7 p.m.
Yeah, this is
You
how
get
we
yourself
right.
a heck of a guest.
There we go.
Oh, nice
Oh
segue.
shit! Will's taking a sip before
I took a
this
sip to make
intro.
sure that I'm queued up. You know what I mean? That I'm all sort of I got a
This
nice
fucking
moist.
guest. This guest better be fucking great, Arnett.
This guest, you know this guest,
Fucking
and so
7:20 at night.
so this guest. Okay, well, let me ask you this: how's a guest who's won a Writers Guild of America award or a
That'll work.
Grammy
That's a good
Grammy
start.
award,
Great to win. Is this an EGOT?
an Independent Spirit Award,
shit.
a BAFTA, an Academy
I
Award.
apologize for
Our
my
tonight's
tone.
guest has won all those things. Okay, so maybe you want to hold your 7 p.m. anger back a little bit.
That was Sean.
Okay,
That was Sean's
That
voice.
was
Wait, are they a Tony shy of an EGOT?
You know what? He is. He is a Tony shy. He's a Tony and an Emmy shy of an EGOT. He's been nominated for the Emmy. I don't know if a few times. I don't know if he's been nominated for a Tony, but I wouldn't be.
Maybe he'll get a
surprised.
Webby for this guest.
He
appearance.
might get a Webby. This guy does it all. He's a writer. He's a director. He's a really funny performer, which I think people know because he's in a bunch of stuff that he directs. But I find him to be one of the funniest dudes that I know. He makes me laugh consistently, even though he does some really serious stuff as well. We don't worry about what he does in the shadows. We're just worried about what he did with Jojo Rabbit. And Thor. It's Taika Waititi.
This is fully excused. Fully excused. Worth the wait. Oh, Taika. Well done, Will. You're
mean,
you're
Very
off the
good.
schneid.
Very good.
I had the whole computer screen covered with this flap of paper that you told me to get. That told me to get.
Yeah.
How does it feel
And,
now that it's
this is
gone?
the first reveal of you guys too. Wow, I love the mustache. Will.
Hi.
What do you think?
It's fantastic.
Thanks,
Is it
buddy.
Were
I-
we prepping for a role this whole time the strike
Yeah.
was on? And just
I've
waited?
been prepping.
Wait, didn't you guys just work together? Didn't that movie come out?
They worked together a couple
Well,
of times.
I didn't mention it, but we do have a thank you, Sean, for the promotion because
Yes.
Taika and,
Great
and
segue, Sean.
Searchlight will
That's what
love
I'm here
this. Taika's next film, Next Goal Wins, is about to be released.
I can't wait to see it.
Maybe at the time of this, it is released, and it's a great movie, and it was made even better by some of the casting.
Oh,
The trailer looks incredible.
it does.
I can't wait to see it.
Taika.
Looks hysterical.
You said we just had done a movie together. I completely forgot that.
I know.
I shot this movie so long ago, and it's been
What a
so long
memorable
to-
performance,
for it to
Willie.
come
I know.
Congratulations.
Taika doesn't even remember. By the way,
It's all that shit on the editing room floor. That's it just
The good
go
stuff.
Remind yourself.
We also did Our Flag Means Death right around that same time together, which is a series about pirates.
It is.
Right. So just looking at the scoreboard, that's 2 for Will, 0
And
for
0
Sean,
for
0
Ty-
for Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
But don't worry. Listen, maybe when you're lucky, when you work with Taika, he won't remember you having done it either. So you
Yeah,
know.
that'll be exciting.
Shit, Jason, I actually forgot to email you back about that other thing.
Well, when I said I couldn't do the soccer movie, give it to Will?
No, you sent me something.
Oh, I wish. What did I send you something to look
Yeah.
at? Maybe?
Don't-
Yes?
Don't be like that. You know you sent me something.
I don't remember things at all.
Hey,
Where are you? Are you down? Are you
I
in
just
a-
landed in LA. That's why it's late, and I appreciate you guys doing this at this hour.
Oh, we
And
appreciate you
I just
being
went
here.
through that airport experience, and I'm exactly like you, Jason. I can't stand it.
Do you still have the dirty socks on right
Yeah,
now?
I
Get
do.
'em
I came
off.
straight from the airport. I don't want to
Well,
touch
wait.
them.
Go burn them.
But that thing, and I curl my feet outwards. You know, when you stand on the edge.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Put the pressure on the
Hoping
outside.
to have less surface area touching the ground.
Yeah.
Will, at what point in the interview can we talk about Jojo Rabbit? Do you have a plan for this? You have a bunch
Well,
of
let's talk
questions?
about no. It's we never have a plan.
Talk about airports.
So we can talk about airports. Let's talk about Jojo Rabbit because if people haven't seen Jojo Rabbit, I
God,
urge
it's
you to
amazing.
fucking see it. It's unbelievable.
trash. No, sorry, I thought that's where you were going.
It's the film that earned Taika
Peter
his
Rabbit.
Academy Award
This
for
movie-
Best Adapted Screenplay and film in which you play Hitler.
So funny.
It's
And take it easy, everybody. He's Jewish, okay?
Take it easy. Take
And
it easy. I
also-
should have put that on the poster. Don't worry, he's Jewish.
Take
Yeah.
it easy should have been on the
Yeah.
Take
But
it easy.
folks, if you haven't seen it, don't be an idiot and wait
Yeah.
longer. Get
Well, it
out
was like,
there and
what was it?
help
2
yourself.
years? 3 years? 2 years ago?
It's so good.
2018, 2019, actually.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
Taika, actually walk us through that a little bit. I'm curious because you adapted that from a book.
Yeah.
How did that go down that you were like, oh man, this has to be a movie? What was that process like for you?
My mother read this book called Caging Skies, and she pitched it to me. She said, you should make this into a movie. And the way she pitched the story to me, I found so funny. And I thought, this is fantastic. And then I read the book, and it was the least funny book I'd read in a long time.
Yeah.
And there was no imaginary Hitler in it or any of that stuff. But the way that she described what was going on in this world, I thought, I'll go with her pitch. Anyway, and I added just those other elements to it, like Hitler and
So what was it? It was a kid going to a Hitler youth
yeah,
camp
it was
type
about
of,
a Hitler, a little kid who wanted to be the best Nazi in the world. Very topical right now. And he tried, and then he got home. He gets home one day and he finds that his mother's hiding a girl in their attic, a Jewish girl in their attic, and he has an absolute meltdown. Has no idea what to do about this thing, which he imagines as like he's been taught that they're monsters with horns and devil tails and stuff.
I mean, for people who haven't seen it, it's just so goddamn good. And the plane lands at the end of this thing in a way that is so exciting and elegant and fun. And it's just, I don't know how you threaded that needle tonally all the way
so
through the
good.
film and then an even narrower one at the end and just drilled it.
Thanks.
It's
God.
true.
damn, it was
And my question was, so you did play Hitler. Were you always going to play that part? Were you like, I got to do this? Or how did that?
No, I never imagined. I mean, look, I'm brown and too good looking. Some would say
You're very,
to play
so good
you're very
looking.
the
handsome.
Führer.
Extremely.
But we did put it out to a lot of actors, and I don't even think they got to see the script. I think their agents immediately said, "That's a hard no. It's a hard pass on this one."
This
So,
is an easy pass.
So then a few years, and I went and made a few other movies. I thought, well, no one's going to make this. It'll be one of those blacklist scripts that never gets off the blacklist. And then Searchlight, who made this soccer film with us, they said to me, we really want to make this film, but only if you play Hitler. And
See, these guys, I mean, consistently through multiple administrations have been like one of the most courageous, tasteful companies in all of
They're good-
entertainment.
they're good
Like
dudes,
I can't imagine a bunch of other companies that would have said yes. What was the pitch process like when you went in there about like
You
how
know,
did
you know exactly what it was like.
Well, but I mean,
Picture
did you have your agent sort of soften the ground a little bit and say he's going to pitch you a Hitler film, but it's not like what you? I mean, was there any warning at all?
I went in and went through multiple studios and started with, okay, it's about a kid growing up in World War II who's in the Hitler Youth, and then their eyes would glaze over. You see them fidget uncomfortably in their seat, and I would sort of just trail off from there because you just know instantly that it's not for them.
But like from jump, though, the way that you play and introduce Hitler is just like, oh, I'm in. We're in great hands. Tonally, this is going. They're not going to ask me to fall in love with Hitler. They're not going to like. I think it was helpful that you didn't look terribly like the classic Hitler.
Yeah. Also, I think what helped with not having a big star play that role is it would have overshadowed everything else. The whole story itself would have been go see the Tom Cruise Hitler movie.
Yeah, right. So Tom Cruise passed on it. Well, we got some news.
Okay.
It was just so great.
It's so good. And so you do that. I mean, this is like, it's such a, as Jason said, I mean, and it sounds like very sort of highbrow, and it is, but at the same time, it's very accessible, and it's just so, I don't know, there's something really, and it's playful, and it's real, and there's a lot going on, and it really hits you in so many different ways. And I like a film like that where you can't describe it as,
it's not really a comedy, it's not really a drama, it's sort of treads that little path in between the things. And I needed to make it, we've all seen great Holocaust films, Schindler's List and stuff, and I don't think I could have made one of those very serious films. And we've seen so many of them, and I think if you want to get a message across or talk about something like heavy like that, you've got to find different ways of telling that story. And one way is, which I think is the most important way of telling stories like that, is using humor and
but you never asked for a laugh. You were simply just in this wonderful kid's perspective, and that just allowed you so much latitude. It was just.
I think with Hitler, it wasn't really Hitler. It was an imaginary Hitler from the mind of an 11-year-old boy. So you could only know what an 11-year-old knows. Right. Which is why he's a buffoon and an idiot.
Yeah, it's great. I love when like Jews tackle that topic. It's just beautiful. Like Mel Brooks always. Spielberg. Just I love the dichotomy of them telling the story from their point of view. From their artistic point of view.
You don't want to see a Hitler movie from me.
No. Not at all. Not with a mustache like that.
Okay. He never got this wide.
And we will be right back.
SmartLess fans, listen up. Have you heard you can listen to episodes of this very show ad-free and 1 week early on Amazon Music with your Prime membership? That's right. All your favorite SmartLess episodes can be heard on Amazon Music ad-free, and you'll always be the one to catch our new episodes so you can brag to your friends. But that's not all. You can listen to any of your other favorite shows like, Bad Dates and Just Jack and Will early and ad-free too. They also have favorites like The Daily, Pardon My Take, and Up First, all without any ads. You know what this means? Uninterrupted listening, so no more cliffhangers. Amazon Music offers the most ad-free top podcasts, so we know they definitely have something for you. And it's already included in your Prime membership. To listen now, all you need to do is go to amazon.com/smartless. That's amazon.com/smartless, or download the Amazon Music app. It's just that easy. This message is brought to you by our sponsor, Visit Florida. Why not escape to paradise on your next vacation? Check out Naples, Marco Island, and the Everglades, Florida's Paradise Coast. Dip into turquoise waters on the over 30 miles of pristine Gulf shoreline. From the secluded Keewaydin Island to luxury beachfront resorts, there's a spot for everyone. Outdoor adventurers, brace yourself for an exhilarating playground of endless mangroves, I like those, estuaries, and shorelines to experience, plus boating, fishing, diving, and an abundance of golf courses. Seeking a little pampering? Dive into opulence with upscale boutiques, art galleries, and world-class spas nestled in Naples. Nestled in Naples is the name of my biography. I mean, come on, what's more relaxing than lounging amid cypress trees to the soothing sounds of Gulf breezes? If food's more your thing, you can savor a fusion of flavors with fresh from the Gulf seafood and globally inspired cuisine at top-notch restaurants. The dining scene on Paradise Coast is a feast for the senses. For the finest of everything Florida has to offer, only Paradise will do. Visit paradisecoast.com/smartless to start planning your trip today. This episode is brought to you in part by WeWork, the world's leading flexible space provider. Who doesn't like working flexibility, right? I'm in my pajamas recording these ads right now. Don't you wish we had visual as well as audio? But that's beside the point. I can imagine the flexibility that WeWork offers is fantastic. You can come and go as you please. It's your space. It's significant to you and your needs. It seems like a dream come true for anybody that wants a flexible work schedule. The world of work has changed, whether fully remote, in office, or somewhere in between. People are looking for spaces that inspire, connect, and help with productivity and collaboration to give their businesses an edge. Enter WeWork. Their solutions are inherently flexible and built for all the ways people work today. WeWork has solutions for individuals and for companies, no matter what the size, from co-working memberships to hundreds of workspaces around the world, and dedicated office space for teams of all sizes to collaborate. Their spaces foster collaboration and connectivity, bring teams together in person, and work alongside some of the most innovative companies today. Get the flexibility your team needs with monthly memberships without the long-term commitments that can change just as easily as your needs do. WeWork makes it easy. Get into a turnkey office with furniture, Wi-Fi, and other amenities ready to use on day one without all the upfront costs. Interested in finding out more? Visit WeWork.com/smartless. Be sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. That's WeWork.com/smartless. WeWork. And now back to the show.
Hey, let me ask you this. You touched on it, Taika, and it's one of the things I said sort of in my rough intro, but you are such a super hilarious dude just as a person. And I think that one of your superpowers is you always find a way to make everything you do fun and funny. Like even, by the way, even Our Flag Means Death, which is a kind of a love story between these two guys, and but it's a pirate show, but it's really a comedy. But I mean, it's more of a comedy probably than a lot of your other stuff. But you always have such great elements of humor, and I know that you use it in your real life too. And it's one of the things that I like. I'm drawn to other people who can have a sense of humor about A, themselves, and B, that no matter how serious a subject is, that there's always a way to access it through humor, to sort of undercut it. And how important is that to you when you're thinking about making stuff? Because you don't get really like too earnest, really.
No, well, coming from New Zealand, we have a very sensitive cheese meter, earnest meter.
Yeah.
When we see something, we feel like, it's a bit cringy. We try and avoid doing it.
Yeah.
And I think all the best comedies I've ever seen have just had that real mix of light and dark, and that's what life is. Every day is like it's full of tragedy and comedy, and that's why I like my films and the things I do to have a mix of both those things.
What were some of those growing up that you loved? One of your favorite movies that were inspirations?
Well, growing up, when I was the things I loved, really young, Blackadder and like British TV comedies, like Fawlty Towers and things like that, which were
one of my favorites.
Real straight comedies, but they did it really efficiently and really well. But I think Strangelove is one of the best comedies that's been made. I love The Graduate.
One of the best comedies I've ever seen is Flight of the Conchords, which you were a part of, and I thought when that came out, I was like, well, my life has changed. That's the funniest show I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, Jermaine and Brett are fantastic, and Jermaine I write with still and make stuff with him a lot now. Time Bandits, we're turning that into a TV show.
Yeah.
And,
You are? That's awesome.
We still do a lot of writing together, and he's still, I think, the best writer.
Oh, no,
How did you? Yeah, I want to know. How did you and Jermaine and Brett kind of come to know each other? What was that like?
Well, we met in university, and Jermaine and I we were auditioning for a university kind of end of year comedy show thing, and we saw each other in the library, and I think instantly took a disliking to each other just based on the way we looked, and then it took about 2 or 3 months before we started to get on, and then we've been best mates ever since.
Fuck.
With all of your success, and artistic accolades and all that stuff, you now, I'm sure, can a pitch like Jojo Rabbit would not be quite as difficult because people trust you. How did you find? You when you started your career, you had that sense of humor that was, and the cheese meter, and in other words, you wouldn't go to the extremes to make an audience feel super comfortable, hold anybody's hand like this country, Hollywood, a lot of the people in charge will ask you to do. They won't really give you the latitude to kind of keep the edges of that. How did you get through that period and not just hit fuck it? These people don't get what I've got.
I did think that all the time, and still do. I think it's so funny here. You have to explain everything. Yeah, like in everything that gets made, everything.
You want to just say, "Trust me, just let me show you some footage," but they never let you get there.
But I mean, even to the audience, you have to explain everything throughout the story, every beat of the way. And so, like, there are no surprises. There's no trusting the filmmaker to deliver the story, in their own way. But I would just I'd make a film in New Zealand. I'd come here and show it at Sundance or something, and no one would see it, and then studios would say, "Do you want to do this film?" And it'd be some, I'm not going to say horrible, but like it's like a rom-com or something that wasn't really up my alley. And then I'd think, nah, I'll go back to New Zealand, make another thing. And I just kept doing that about 4 or 5 times until finally I did. And then What We Do in the Shadows was really the one that kind of, I think, had more traction in the States, even though it was still a kind of small cultish film.
But again, was that HBO?
No, that was a film, and then we turned that into a show. Then Marvel asked me to come in and pitch on Thor.
Yeah, well, you did Hunt for the Wilder People in between that?
Hunt for the Wilder People, and that, I don't know how these films did, actually. I don't really remember.
Are you getting checks? You getting a lot of checks in the mail?
Yeah. These checks. I got some of these checks.
But I was going to say, so then you do that stuff. It's funny. We were working... Flag Means Death, and Taika goes, "We have worked together before." And at this point, he had made 2 or 3 films in New Zealand. Okay, so he was like a legitimate filmmaker. And like he said, like you had opened at Sundance at least twice, I think, and whatever. And he'd done this video. Sean, I think Sean's in it too, isn't he? Is Sean in it? Maybe not.
Maybe.
We did for like an upfront, like a...
It was for the Super Bowl. And
Super
it was
Bowl
for
NBC.
It was for NBC, and it went through all the shows on NBC. And it was the Brotherhood of Man, like, song from that musical. And it cut to all the different shows.
From How to Succeed.
And they did a verse or a couple of lines from the show.
And it cut to me and Maya and Christina Applegate and Maya Rudolph and me. And Taika goes, "We have worked together." And he showed me this
stupid video.
That's
You know
so
who else
wild.
was in that? You know who else was in that? Donald Trump.
Is he really?
I directed
Apprentice.
I directed Trumpy.
Really? Did you have a set of specifications that you had
Yep,
to
there was a
adhere
list.
to?
There was a piece of paper with a list of demands, like
Right, the way that he likes to be
things.
lit, the height of
You
the
had
camera.
height of the camera, exactly. It had to be a certain height to make him look a little thinner. And yet it almost had, I think it had like a sort of whatever the Pantone of orange was that he had to appear as on screen.
Wow.
Sure. And he
Wow.
had a sort of like a makeup person who was also his ego booster. So she would like touch him up and say, "Oh, Mr. Trump, you look yeah.
Wait, was I in that? Like,
Were you in that?
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know if you were
That you're
in
doing the reboot.
I don't know.
at that
I don't know
point,
if you were in the promo, but I was like, but it's so funny. So here's Taika, like fucking, like it's not like he discovered talent late in his life, like he had it, and but he's coming to America and they're offering him rom-coms and he's like, no, and he'll make a couple bucks doing some video shit for people, like for the Super Bowl, and then he fucks off back to New Zealand and to make his like indies and do what he wants.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What made you think that Marvel is so incredible at doing their thing? I mean, they've got a product that is just incredible. It is made this industry as twice as healthy as it's ever been. But I think one should and does and needs to adhere to a certain
The parameters.
Because that audience expects certain boxes to be checked. What made you think that your incredibly unique perspective on things would be a fit for something that you would probably agree needs to stay inside a certain boundary?
Jason, that's a wonderful question.
Thank you.
Yeah, really.
Close to zero. Thank you. It was a wonderful question.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm glad you asked that.
Thank you. Will,
I-
did you hear all that?
I didn't know I said it's a wonderful.
Yeah,
I'm still
compliments on that
basking in the
question.
glow of the question, to be honest.
Oh,
Still reeling from that
So proud
question.
of
I thought
myself.
I'd get such a hard-hitting
Yeah, it's
so
question.
late too to be so articulate.
It's been
I have another one.
Hey.
Oh, go
Oh, I
ahead.
didn't even answer
No,
that
no,
question.
sorry.
We're going straight to the next one.
To watch you suck Marvel's dick for so long was a real treat.
I took it all. Did you see me take it all?
You did take it all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right down to the pubes. Let's get the answer now.
Okay. The pubes.
Oh my God. Jason watches gay porn in his free time.
Fuck it. Oh.
What happened to me? You know what? I had no interest in doing one of those films. It wasn't on my sort of like my whole plan of like my career as an auteur. But I was poor and I just had a second child and and I thought, you know what? This would be a great opportunity to feed these children.
Or do what my dad did. Go ahead.
And-
Continue.
Right, okay. Well, I'm still doing my answer.
Sorry. No.
Yeah.
And your dad.
Quiet, John.
Hang on. Okay, so then they called and they said, "Do you want to do this?" And Thor was probably, let's face it, was probably like the least popular franchise. It was I'd never read Thor comics when I was a kid. That was the comic I picked up and thought, oh, would never open. And then I thought, and then I did some research on it, and I read
A full one.
Thor
Yep.
comic.
Yeah.
All 18 pages or however long they are.
Sure.
I was still baffled by this character, and I thought, well, you know,
Wait,
if
let's
there's
be
anything I
honest.
can bring to this,
Let's be honest. When it comes to comics, I mean, red is a stretch. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Keep going. Looked at. Okay.
that I flicked through. That went,
Yeah.
that's enough, and then pitched myself. I thought the only thing that I could bring was as character. It's like just looking at Thor as a character, and look, he's like a billionaire, lives in space, and he looks ridiculous, and that was sort of the end. I was like, well, let's just highlight that he's like a rich kid I pitched that he's a bit like you and me, Jason, that he hates germs,
Right.
And
That didn't scare the shit out of them?
I think there was no place left to go with that thing.
Everyone had passed.
Right.
I was like, it felt like, I thought, wow, they called me and this is really the bottom of the barrel. This is the barrel.
But Feige has taken a nice swings on. Actually,
He has taken great swings,
Right.
and
I mean,
yes, to
starting
their
with
credit.
Favreau, right, and then I mean, like, and Kenneth Branagh and Chloe Zhao and I
Yeah.
mean,
The
it's like-
Russos.
the Russos,
Russos,
like
those
I
guys.
guess it has been directors that have been outside of the box, but
But they know what they're good at, right? They're good at
Yeah.
keeping everyone in their lane and making sure they don't veer off into something else that doesn't feel Marvel. So they bring people in who are good at story and making great characters and bring something unique, and then they'll keep it within the Marvel.
Right.
and you obviously had a great experience because you went back for one. you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Went back
Ragnarok.
Yeah, but it is true. Like I remember, we
funny.
have friends of ours who are doing another one of these. I won't name it, but it's a series of movies that takes place in space, and they went off a little bit. I think veered a little bit off the plan and ended up not working out because they had too many ideas that were outside.
That wasn't
of
Marvel, though.
No. I didn't say it was Marvel. I said
Okay.
it's a different thing, but it was outside of the playbook a little bit, right?
Right,
And so that
right.
it made them nervous because they got a lot at stake. Again, it's their property and they got a lot at stake.
Yeah.
So when they hired you, though, Taika, I mean, again,
the
knowing
fans
you,
hated it, by the way. They hated that I was doing
They hated
this.
Thor.
No, the fact that I was, when I
Oh,
signed on
really?
for that first one, and they're like, who's this guy? He's going to
no, but they fucking end up loving it. My kids who are big Marvel fans, like my son Abel, still to this day. When I told him that you were on the show tonight, he was like, "Wait, he's on the show tonight?" Because he loves fucking Thor so
Yeah, but
much.
he's an idiot, though.
No, he's not an idiot. He's a funny fucking
Abel's
kid.
the
He's not a.
dummy.
He's not a. He's not
Archie
a
gives him
dullard
a
like you.
compliment.
Wait, Taika.
You get a compliment out of Archie. You got
When
something.
you hear
This
that
is
about
the 7 o'clock version.
Yeah, we're getting
of this
grouchy.
podcast.
Bateman's 45 minutes past gummy hour, and it's not
Starting to shake.
He's got the fight. It is not pleasant. Amanda won't let him in. Amanda's going to text him and say, "You take that gummy, and 15 minutes later, you can come in the house."
She leaves it on the front step.
Yeah, out on the top of the mailbox.
With the key, next to the key.
Yeah.
Taika,
Just
when
paces
you...
outside and waiting for it to kick in, and then it's just a scratch at the door.
Coming on, honey,
It's not
coming
a
on.
bang at the door.
Yeah.
It's just like
And she's looking at her watch. She's like 30, 29, 28, 27.
Fucking,
Taika, when you hear that fans, like you said, were...
it made me happy.
Okay,
Yeah.
next question. The
Almost did a legitimate spit take.
Okay. Right? And then I have to ask about Mandalorian because I'm a massive, 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 massive fan of that series. And so is Scotty, my husband. And how did you get Mandalorian? And how, by the way, and you voiced the droid, right? The
Yeah.
IG-11?
I do it all. So Favreau.
What did he
got in
voice,
touch-
Sean?
The droid.
The
it's
droid
IG-11?
IG.
Sorry, what's the serial number on the droid?
Yeah, it was
IG.
just IG-11.
IG-11.
Make sure to have that on the top of your head. Fucking.
This is how you landed Scotty. I always wondered.
Yeah. Hey, you into
They're
IG-11?
gonna put your headstone when you die. Your gravestone is just gonna be blank. It's just gonna be nothing. Not even a date. Just
No,
nothing.
it'll say sorry. It'll
He had
say I
nothing.
apologize.
He had fucking nothing.
So John
Anyways,
said,
the IG-11.
People walk by. Oh, that's Sean Hayes.
Well, IG-11, who Sean will know is based on IG-88,
That's correct.
Wow.
which is something I found out when I did The Mandalorian.
Did that floor you as much as it's flooring me?
wait, you were about to say Favreau picked you up and
He
said,
picked me up. He picked me up. I was standing on the corner. He picked me up and said, hey, kid, come and do an episode of Mandalorian. And I went down. This is the first time I'd used that volume thing with the TV screens all in a big circle. And we shot most of the show on that.
Yeah.
And he said, come and do this thing. And it was great because I didn't have to write it and do anything, just turn up and direct. And it was awesome. And he was there to help. And the first day, I was directing 75 stormtroopers.
Wow.
Standing in a big giant stormtrooper battle.
That's
which was
so cool.
Just fucking incredible.
"Oh my
Yeah,
god,
It is cool. By the way, it's good that you had a guy like Favreau. He's a friend of the show, and we
love
like him
Favreau.
a lot.
love that John Favreau."
Yeah, same here. And
No, me too.
I'm sure he was fucking helpful as shit because he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Taika, why did you just fly into LA and where were you?
I went to Scotland.
Because
And I was hanging out in Scotland. And so
just hanging out?
Airbnb have these special little pop-up places you can stay. And I don't know if you heard about this, but they made Shrek's swamp with Shrek's house, a full replica of Shrek's tree and the house inside it. And everything is like exactly like in the movie, the bed, the table.
Wow.
And Rita is
Your wife, Rita.
fan, my wife,
Yeah, amazing. For Tracy.
my ex-girlfriend. So she
Ex-girlfriend.
she booked us in, and we went and stayed at Shrek's swamp.
Hold on.
And then we drove around Scotland and stuff, and we dressed up. She bought costumes.
Oh, wow.
Kinky, right?
From-
We dressed up as Shrek and
Shrek.
Princess Fiona.
Okay.
And she did some photos and a video.
Well, there goes the "what do you do in your free time" question. I guess.
Wait a second.
Jason, the disgust on Jason's face.
I just
I know,
can
Jason,
I have
I
20
know.
minutes of the interview real
Yes,
quick?
go ahead.
So, all right. So you are married to you were dating her.
Rita Ora,
And now
incredible singer-songwriter.
Now we're married.
now you're married.
Yeah.
Did you know that she was such a fan of Shrek before you put a ring on her finger?
No, I
Okay.
did not know that.
So she's a big Shrek fan, such that you went ahead and bought yourself a couple of first-class tickets all the way over to Scotland, and you stayed in a little grass
Yeah.
hut or something.
Yeah.
And
That was just part of the trip. That was just one fun
you
thing
guys
we got
sound
to
like
do.
that's fun, I guess. I
And then we
mean,
drove around Scotland and we went and hung out. And
That's so
looked at
nice.
castles.
That's pretty cool. I
That
guess
is-
that's pretty cool. Now, if they had Sean, don't lie. If they had a place like this Airbnb that was Star Wars themed, would you
Yeah.
take Scotty to for his birthday surprise? Yeah,
Of
without a
course.
doubt.
Yeah.
Would you fly all the way to Scotland for it? Do you love him that much?
Probably not.
Would you go to space for it? If
Absolutely.
it existed in space, you wouldn't.
Well, space is faster.
Would you
than
like to
Scotland.
go to space, Sean?
Absolutely. Don't you?
Would you?
No, honestly,
Absolutely.
no. Now, I played golf today with Michael Strahan, who told me that he went up into that Jeff Bezos rocket
Yeah,
thing.
that's what
and
I
up
would do.
into- You would do that?
Absolutely.
Now,
Taika, would you go to space?
Yeah, I'd go to space. For how long?
Oh, great
Just a couple minutes.
I mean, what
Just in and
That's
out.
just a couple minutes. That Bezos thing's a couple minutes.
I just don't want to do anything that when I land, the euphoria is relief because I got away with something. I feel like, I shouldn't be doing things that I get away with anymore.
Well, that's how we feel about our careers.
Yeah, that's true.
Jason's like one of those dogs, they have those collars and they set up the perimeter, and the perimeter is the golf club at his house. Okay. And if he goes any further, it fucking shocks him and it keeps him,
Keep it safe.
But Jay, it's a once in a lifetime thing that you could just experience the view of space and the weightlessness, and like you can't ever.
Oh, he'd love the weightlessness, Jay. Come on.
That's true. No,
You
but
do it
you know
just
what?
for the
No.
weightlessness.
You know what? You end up getting very bloated up there.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I know so. You've seen those shots of the astronauts. Everybody.
Your
looks
takeaway from the astronauts from talking to people in space is they look bloated,
a
man?
little too bloated. Little too bloated, and the hair all stands up. I'm kidding. I lean into all this stuff. I don't care about the germs. Scotland sounds great with the Shrek thing, and let's just get a parachute on me and get a plane going.
Yeah. Okay.
This is all for bits.
Yeah.
I would have loved, it would be great. I was just
true.
now thinking about Scotland. I was thinking about JB in like medieval times. When like people were like ripping legs off of chickens and stuff at the meal and just biting into it and like
You're not
and
going to
just
wash
being in
those hands?
damp castle with they hadn't invented socks really yet,
Or
you know
plumbing.
What I mean?
No plumbing, no bath.
Toilet paper.
We'll be right back. Thanks to Amazon for their support. With their low prices and huge selection, Amazon wants to help you share joy this holiday season. And as we all know, the holidays are all about these joyful moments. I remember just a week ago through Amazon, I ordered a little bracelet with all the planets on it because I'm a little bit of a sci-fi nerd. And guess what? I got 2 of them. And guess who the other person is that I gave it to? Scotty. So guess what? We both have them. And guess what was shared? Joy. Tremendous joy between 2 people that love each other that now have planet beads on their wrists. It's pretty cool. And it's these types of moments that Amazon can help you create during the holidays. However you share joy, make it happen with holiday deals at Amazon. Thank you to Sonos for supporting this episode. Elevate your audio experience to a whole new level with Sonos Arc, the premium smart soundbar that transcends ordinary listening. Arc was designed from the inside out for incredibly clear sound and rich bass, then fine-tuned by Oscar and Grammy-winning producers, mixers, and artists. True Play tuning software further enhances your listening experience by optimizing Arc's sound for the unique acoustics of the room. Feel the immersive power of cinematic sound as Sonos Arc unleashes crystal clear, room-filling sound with Dolby Atmos. When the TV is off, stream music, podcasts, SmartLess, the radio, audiobooks, and more using the new Sonos app, Apple AirPlay 2, or guess what? Your voice. So me in this house, for me and Scotty, we have Sonos in every single room in our house. And we just got the Aero 100. It's pretty cool. When we go in the backyard and we're sitting around, we have a little tiny fireplace back there. And we just use the Sonos Aero 100 and it's hooked up to our phone. We can play all of our favorite music, but it sounds so much better with Sonos. Head over to Sonos.com and enjoy up to 25% off select products now through November 27th or while supplies last. SmartLess listener, let me tell you a little bit about the Defender 110. You're up for any challenge that comes your way. The Defender 110 is too. The iconic vehicle has been reimagined for 21st century adventure, and its unparalleled off-road ability, as well as its robust interior, are invaluable whether you're headed towards uncharted territory or just a weekend of exploration. The Defender 110 tackles challenging surroundings with absolute confidence. The SUV conveys strength outside and in, featuring peerless technology like intuitive driver display and an award-winning infotainment system to keep you connected no matter where the journey takes you. Adventure is unique to everyone, and so is the Defender. Choose from the 2-door Defender 90, the 4-door Defender 110, or the larger Defender 130 with the ability to seat up to 8 passengers. You'll find uncompromising performance in all 3. Pack up and go even further with the Defender 110. Learn more at LandRoverUSA.com/Defender.
All right, back to the show.
I want to know, speaking of all these little things, Taika, what's it like? Like you seem, we don't know each other that well. We met once, and it was like such a highlight of, my life meeting you. I'm such a huge fan. I've seen all your movies. I love Jojo Rabbit. I've seen it like 3 times. And
Taika has no recollection.
no, of course not. I remember I almost put your jacket on. Do you remember that?
I remember.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great night. It was a highlight for me as well.
Okay, so what the little bit I know of you, you seem completely relaxed, low key, chill, like normal, down to earth. What do you do?
He just mentioned he's married, by the way, so just fucking cool it.
What do you do when you meet a personality that's totally opposite of yours that you have to work with? You're like, oh my God, this guy or this girl is way too much for me. They're not on my level. How do you deal with that?
I'd say I just bitch about them later.
You send all your notes in through the first AD.
Yeah, and then I go home and this son of a bitch. Who believes this guy? We all do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, actors in particular, just fucking hard
We're
work,
all
aren't they?
nuts.
They're just fucking pain in the ass, most of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
So true.
And then each actor's got a different way of working that you got to find out because they won't tell you, and you got to figure it out by watching them. And you're like, oh, you're one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, you're one of them. And then there's always the other ones that are like, oh, let's do an imprro take. Oh, Christ, not them, not one
Wait,
of those
Taika,
guys.
one for me now, right? One for me.
Yeah. And you're like, and those guys who like, I was talking about this a lot with
The crew loves that.
They go, let's do an improv take. I'm like, fuck, all right. And
Like,
then,
are you at the point though in your career where you're just like, I'm going to handpick the people I want, the actors, the producers,
yeah,
all
and
the
usually
people.
it's just people you trust and your friends.
But what were you going to say, Taika? So you're
about the improvising. You fucking roll the camera and then and a lot of actors' idea of improvising or ad-libbing is just say the first thing that comes into your head. It doesn't have to help the scene at all or anything.
Right.
They go, yeah, action. They go, cool, wall.
Yeah.
And then you're like, fantastic. Well done.
Right.
That was the one for you. Let's move on.
Right.
Or it's just a list of jokes they 100% wrote the night before.
Right.
Ian Morris texted me out of the blue today just so I can get a mention in on Ian, who co-wrote Next Goal Wins. He's our mutual friend. And he
So that's-
texted me. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
So it's about soccer. Yeah. And Willie, what do you play in the film?
Nothing. Taika asked me last minute to come in and just do a couple days to help out. But
It's a small little role.
yeah.
But he makes a huge difference. The film is about it's a true story about the worst soccer team in the world, which was the American Samoan soccer team. And in the history of the country, they'd never won a game or scored a goal.
Wow.
And I think
Wow.
like in 2001 or something, they suffered the biggest international loss, which is still the record today, which was against Australia, and they lost 31-0.
Jesus.
Which
That's
is, let's figure that out. What is that, a goal every 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Was anybody in the goal? Was there a goaltender?
There was a guy in the goal, and
bless him.
I think he was quite traumatized by that.
And they lost to the Socceroos, who is not the best soccer team in the world. But decent.
And then they got this coach in, and Thomas Rongen. They, I think he might have been the only person who responded to the request. He came into the island and got them into shape, and then they ended up, spoiler, they scored a goal.
Yeah. And it was a big...
It was a massive deal.
And that person, the guy playing that part, is Michael Fassbender, who is a fantastic dude.
That man is gifted.
Yeah.
Brilliant
it's
actor.
amazing.
And it was funny because he's done so many serious, really heavy. He's got a new serious movie coming out next soon as well. And
He's someone who can improvise. He's very good.
he's a smart dude.
He's great. He's so good in The Killer too. The Fincher film. It was
I want
fantastic.
to see that.
I want to see that too.
Really,
but
really
anyway,
good.
but he's and so you have Fassbender in there in a very sort of like comedic role,
Yeah.
right?
And I didn't think it would be that his role would become as comedic. I thought that everyone else around him would provide the comedy, but he kept delivering and just gave him more things to do.
Yeah.
Was it twisting arms to get him in that film? Because he's much more interested in racing cars right now.
He's a
right?
race car driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was doing that when I called him up. He was.
You had to fit it in between races.
Yeah. He said, "Well, I'm thinking about taking the year off and just racing."
He's legit.
He's legit.
And I said, "Well, it's in Hawaii," and he said, "I'll be there."
He's got this love. Fassbender's got one of the, like, the more you ask him about what's going on in his life, the cooler it is. And he's like, I'm racing this type of BMW, and then I raced this kind of thing, and then where's that? We're in Portugal, and then we drove up to fucking Belgium to do that thing, and you're like, what kind of life is this? This is a fucking life I want.
This is a real Steve McQueen life.
Yeah, it's a real Steve McQueen, like cool.
He's just channeled that whole life. He's stolen that whole life. He raced Le Mans last year.
Yeah. Fucking A.
Taika, how much time do you spend in New Zealand versus the States?
Depending on what tax department is after.
Sure.
It changes.
It changes, of course.
You should have said
a
that.
certain number of days I can stay in each place.
Right.
And you do the right one for each one of those, for sure.
Yeah. I have about 14 days left this year in the States.
Are you being serious?
Come on, really?
I'm serious.
But you've timed
I've
it
got to
out.
get out of
well.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I try and spend a lot of time in New Zealand because my kids are there, and I'm just trying to come here because I want to see Will. And
Are they going to love this movie? Are they soccer fans?
they don't. No, they don't care about soccer. New Zealand is not a soccer country, really.
No, it's rugby, right?
It's rugby. It's all rugby.
Are you a rugby fan?
I'm a massive rugby fan.
Really?
We just went to the World Cup games.
I just
We
saw that.
lost the World Cup.
I watched that.
Tell you guys.
How did they do?
We got to the final and then we lost.
Barely lost.
To South Africa.
To South Africa. You guys are the two powerhouses, right?
Yeah.
Well, hang on. The
yes.
Springboks, South Africa barely beat England. Let's be honest. Like they were kind of charmed this tournament.
Yeah.
And New Zealand had a really good chance to win.
We had a good chance. We often it's always close between those teams.
Did you ever play rugby as a kid?
I played rugby up until my sort of late 20s.
I mean, it really hurts, doesn't it? There's no
It
padding.
hurts still. I get up in the morning and like sometimes just an ankle won't work or a knee won't work, and all those little injuries you get in your 20s and you bounce back really fast, and now it's like your body just punishes you later.
Some people say that it's safer to tackle in that sport because there's no helmets. So you're actually a little bit more careful.
You don't tackle with your head. Over here, they just sort of just dive through the air with their head first.
Yeah.
Trying to stab people with their bodies.
Well, when the CTE stories were all about in the last 5-10 years or something like that, there was a thought that maybe NFL would think about removing the helmets.
Really?
Yes, so that people would stop using their head as part of the tackle. And all the other pads would still be on. You just have to learn how to just tackle differently, like the folks that play rugby.
Yeah, you just tackle and you move your head out of the way.
Are they really less in rugby, those CTE injuries?
It seems like they have less,
less concussions.
concussions.
Less
Yeah.
issues.
Wow, that's kind of amazing.
Because you don't have that false sense of
Safety. You
safety and
protect
security,
yourself.
yeah.
You don't make sure your head doesn't bang into anything.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Taika, hi. What about when you're directing something?
Each time you talk to me, you say, hi.
Hi.
As if because this might be usable for the first part of the interview.
Sure, forget. We're not even into this.
we might cut it.
We haven't even started
Everything
yet.
before this.
Yeah, we haven't started yet.
So, Taika, hi.
Great
Today's
rehearsal.
guest is Taika Waititi. Taika,
Hey, guys.
welcome.
Hey, Taika, I have a question
guys.
about your process. When you are directing something, is there an itch to be in it always? Are you like, oh God, I'm so glad I'm not in this?
No, I really love being in it. I love acting. I think it's fun, but only if it's something that I find fun and I've got control over that.
Do you like the process of directing yourself? The fact that you don't
Yeah, well,
have to?
I like it because it's easier for me to direct people in the scene as well. I can just talk straight to them while I'm doing the lines. So do that again.
Yeah, doing
do
the
that faster.
lines.
Do that better.
What if you have an actor that's not very pliable with all of that? Like they get upset that you're talking to them in the middle of the scene that they want you to wait till after cut. You ever had one of
I'm
those?
pretty lucky I haven't worked with people like that.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two, but I just sort of tend to
Ignore it.
kind of cut them out of the cool group and then just ignore them, and then they feel left out, and then they either quit or
alienate and bully them on set until they quit.
I mean, film sets are like high school. You just, you know.
Yeah. Do you have siblings that have cool names like you too?
Yeah, most people have got cool names. My kids have got really cool names. My first daughter, her first name is Te Kāinga o Te Henekahu, which means house or home of the she-hawk.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. And my second daughter, Matiwa, the literal translation is time of the dead.
Wow. That's awesome.
Be careful what you name your kids.
That is
That's what I'll
cool.
Do you know that Sean means I like macaroni?
Yeah.
So
It's not a lot of people know that.
Not a lot of people know that, but you could.
I
you
like
could guess it.
That's
macaroni.
only if you spell it SEAN. You spell it
that's correct.
SHAWN,
Yeah.
and we'll tell them what that means.
That's Jason's improv.
I like setups. I don't like punchlines.
And you say the other part.
You say
I'm
the
going to
funny
do an
part. Go
improv
ahead.
take and action. You've got a poem you wrote about this situation, about
Right,
this wall.
exactly. Tell them what you wrote.
Got a poem you wrote, and then point at the person.
That's so funny.
We did this fucking stupid bit for a long time. Tyke and I were doing on texting each other, and we were doing flag means death, and there was this scene where Reese has to walk away, and I said something to his character, and then Tyke comes up behind me and goes, "Don't, man, let him go, man," or something like this. But he said it in this like. We were laughing because he was doing it on purpose to sound like it was like in an after-school special. And he grabbed my arm like, "Just let him go, man." And so
This turned into, just let him go, Johnny. We'll get him next year.
and we started laughing so fucking hard. And everybody's like, "What are you guys laughing about?" And he kept going, "Don't worry about it, Johnny. They were never like us. We were always outsiders, Johnny." The fucking director was like, "You guys got to fucking cool it, man." And then we would text each other these stupid things. It's fun stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds like a good time.
It does sound like a good.
It's not funny anymore, Johnny. People got hurt. We killed a kid, Johnny. It's not a game anymore. People are getting hurt.
Fuck me, that gets me every time.
Taika, listen, this has been a pleasure. It's after 8 o'clock.
After 8 o'clock, everyone's pissed off.
You
No
just
one
got
wanted
off
to
a
do
fucking
this.
plane.
No,
Jason
no one
hasn't
wanted
had
to
a-
do this at this hour.
Oh, are you kidding me? This is so weird.
Once I saw you, it was all on.
Sean's
Love
like,
it.
you're like, it's 30 minutes past the ice cream sundae, right? How far are we past?
You're joking, but that's exactly what I'm going to do right now.
I know.
I'll
I'm
take a
not
photo for you.
joking. What are you going to have?
What's
What
on
are you
your
gonna have?
Sunday? What do you?
I
what do
just
you
put
do?
vanilla ice cream, chocolate syrup, and whipped cream, and I do a whole thing of Haagen-Dazs.
No
I don't-
cherry.
Because you start doing 2 scoops, and you're like, well, there's only 2 scoops left. I might as well just finish
You do the whole pint.
every single time.
And let's see the proof of that. Go ahead, stand up, shake the cookie pouch. Here it comes. There it is.
Yeah. Good for you. Hey, you know what I'd say? You're enjoying life.
Yeah,
That's
good for you.
exactly right. We all have
Good
5
for you.
minutes.
Taika, you're a fucking superstar, dude.
Yeah.
Love you,
I
dude.
love you guys.
Thank
You're
you
the
so
best.
much,
Thanks
Thanks for
man.
having me on
Thanks
this.
for
Thank you,
doing this
thank you,
right off
thank
the
you, thank you for
plane.
yeah, exactly. Thanks for doing it right off the plane.
You asked me if I'd do this about 3 years ago.
I know.
And I'm really happy to finally.
I know you did.
finally
Listen, for the
happened.
Thanks for
record,
doing it.
I would have recorded this with you at 9 p.m. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
10.
Could have
10.
another go at
10.
it. I can do better.
Well, thank you for eventually
best.
doing it. I appreciate it, and I'll see you
too.
next week.
Thank you, Taika.
See you next week. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Bye,
pal.
Taika.
All
right.
Thanks,
Good to see
pal.
you.
Oh,
See you guys.
Well, you pulled it out of your hat there, Willie.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
That was fantastic. So wait, now hang on a second. That was our first official yawn I think we've ever had in over.
No, you had
100
one
and
during the show that was quiet.
It was quiet, yeah, but I hide it behind the microphone so the guest doesn't see it or my co-hosts don't see it. But we heard that one, and so that's an evening record right there with the yawn.
Well, put it this way.
And there's a
it's-
belch. Good, thank you, Sean.
It's 11
What are you
minutes after 8, and I'll be asleep by 9:15.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'll be asleep by
So
9:15.
jealous. What are you
But-
gonna do? What are you gonna do right now till you go to bed?
Right now, I'm going to go up. I got the little kids, make sure that they're down, going to sleep. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go in there and see what's going on MSNBC. You know,
Wonderful.
see if
Sean, you're going to have a Sunday.
I'm gonna make a Sunday and sit on the couch and get fat. So listen, Taika.
are you going to watch this old house?
No, that's Sundays. I watch that Sundays a lot.
Yeah,
Silly
that's
me.
Sundays with Sundays.
You don't have a.
Do you?
Oh, that's so good.
I know.
Sundays
Just
and
fucking write
Sundays.
it down. Scotty! Hey,
wait, Taika
what will you watch tonight? Before we get, well, sorry, yes, let's get into Taika. How great is Taika? How funny and cool and rad is
He seems very hip and cool and like,
He was
really
hard to get on
chill.
because he kept he was changing, and then he was like 2 years ago. I was like, hey, will you do right when he
was on my list too, yeah.
and I go,
On our list.
come do the podcast. He's like, yeah. I was like, great. And then trying in the schedule, and then he's always in England and New Zealand and shooting stuff and whatever.
He also just doesn't care in the best way.
No, he
It's
doesn't.
That sexy indifference, right?
Right,
It's just
right.
it's like, well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's
I was
all
in
good.
Atlanta a few months ago, earlier this year, and I get a text, and they said, listen, you or your doppelganger, or it was either you or your doppelganger just walked into a restaurant in Atlanta and went upstairs. And then I walked downstairs, and there he was on the ground floor with Renee. Yeah, he's
Where?
such a
In
sweet-
Atlanta?
In Atlanta.
Just recently?
Yeah. Well, no, a few months ago. He's just such a fucking cool.
And that's when you close the deal for the.
But that was one of the other times that he was like, "Yeah, I can't wait to do it." And then
He's one of those, but he's one of those people too that kind of created his own style of comedy.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have to. Jay, you said he doesn't ask for it. He's created his own lane. Yeah, he's created his own lane, and he doesn't. You get this, and it is true. You get the sense he doesn't really. It's not that he doesn't care about what other people are doing. It's just that he's into what he's doing in a way, and he's confident about it. He's super smart, and super funny and self-deprecating and all of those kind of great things.
But he seems like he's more concerned in the best way about making himself proud and making himself laugh than other people, and other people's opinions or their ability to get what he's doing doesn't really guide what he's doing.
No, he's genuine. He just literally just sent me a text talking like he's a sweet, thoughtful person.
He seems like it. Yeah.
And you know what? These days, those kind of people, they're hard to come by.
Wonderful.
Smart. Less. Smart. Less.
SmartLess is 100% organic and artisanally handcrafted by Michael Grant Terry, Rob Armjarv, and Bennett Barbaco.
Smart. Less.
Our next episode will be out in a week wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can listen to it right now early on Amazon Music, or early and ad-free by subscribing to Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts or the Wondery app.